Hey guys, Alex from 7th Hour Films back again with Cowboy Bebop. Last time on Cowboy Bebop, we watched the movie Knocking on Heaven's Door, where basically, on Mars, there was this dude named Vincent who was going to destroy all life on Mars using these nano machines, and it was up to the crew of the Bebop to stop them, specifically Spike. And yeah, along the way, we met this woman named Electra, who used to be in love with Vincent, and but she was also immune to the nanites, which is interesting. And then yeah, the whole climax was on Halloween night, and there was a big fight between Spike and Vincent, and they were able to get a vaccine across Mars so that nobody would die, and that was pretty much it. And it was great, it was fun, and I really enjoyed it. But now we are back to the final 4 episodes of Cowboy Bebop. Isn't that crazy? So yeah, like always, the reaction is down in the description and in the pinned comment for your viewing pleasure. So let's go ahead and jump right into this episode of Cowboy Bebop. Here we go. You know, this is very virtual world arc. Virtual world arc of Yu-Gi-Oh! With freaking Noah Kaiba. So, I did all this because I'm alone or whatever. So it's literally just this kid, all he could do was dream, but he was also a hacker. Somehow he interfaced with this. I guess he was able to interface with it, and then he created Londus. And then he was just like, fuck it. Cult. Alright. Alright. Interesting. Interesting episode. Just the whole thing with, the virtual reality and, plugging it. And I mean, it is just practically just a straight commentary on cults, Like, oh, we must cleanse your soul and shit like that, Which is interesting. It's definitely interesting. But yeah, it's just, I don't know. I don't know. It's just, it's always one of those where it's like, I don't know. Sometimes I get to the end of these episodes and I'm like, what the fuck do I say, But it sounds like my dog might have gotten up. I'll see in a sec. But yeah, so it was kind of interesting. Just the whole thing of, this digital cult and everything. I like that, the reason they get in on this is because Faye just got, she just got in too deep, basically. So yeah, so that's just sort of interesting. She was just going after Londus, trying to get the, 3 million Woolongs or whatever. So she got in too deep, and eventually they went in and had to save her, basically. So yeah, so that was an interesting idea, And I like how, just going through all the different channels at the beginning, and just showing how big of an impact Scratch had, basically, So all of that is really, really interesting. And then, yeah, just meeting him. It's interesting because, it's one of those things because, you start to hear this philosophy, and I gotta say, maybe it's just because of, maybe how many shows I've watched, but I'm tired. I'm starting to get to the point where it's I'm tired of preaching, it reminds me of the moment in the movie that we watched last week where I think it was during the convenience store robbery where you had that guy talking so much and Jet was like, oh boy, a wannabe preacher with a gun, and yeah, it's you get so many of those, and especially when you get to some versions of the Joker or something where it's here, we have to really hammer in, we have to really hammer in philosophy and stuff like that, and instead of just I'm fucking crazy, let's go, But I like how, I mean, it's interesting because it's like, okay, here's this stuff about, you know, philosophy and, oh, people made God, and now that philosophy has extended to television and stuff. But at the same time, it doesn't really matter, and it's all kind of bullshit anyway, you know? And I like that. Like, just as much as he talks about, you know, humans made God, you know? Gods only exist because humans want to believe in them, you know? And that whole thing, it's like, it's the same thing about you. It's the same thing about you, you know? And there was a bit, I do kind of like that it skewed a little bit after that, where it's like, you know, like, oh, we humans, they made these gods to believe in them and everything, but the people, that's who made it to then being about TV and the constant bombardment of information that people get. Which, honestly, you know, even though I'm sitting here like, oh, whatever the fuck, you know, the preacher with not really a gun because he's virtual, but you know what I mean. But at the same time, that's a lesson that still holds up today, you know? That's a lesson that still holds up today. It's just that the aspect of TV has evolved into the internet and social media and everything. I mean, and I know that's weird to say because that's what I'm doing right now, you know? That's what we're all doing right at this moment because I feel the need to put my voice out there about, you know, this episode of Cowboy Bebop. And you, the viewer, feel the need to listen to what I have to say about this episode of Cowboy Bebop. And that's just one aspect of it. There's plenty of others, you know, different types of social medias, whether YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, all of this garbage. And it's true, you know, they do sort of become their own religion. But, you know, nowadays there are at least some people who try to take steps to clear that from their mind. If you can hear that, that's my dog getting up. Why is he getting up? He's probably going to go outside. Well, I'll go let him out, so 1 second. And then we'll talk about the dog in this episode. Anyway, I'm back. So yeah, this whole thing with, you know, with people and social media, I mean, it's true, you know, show of hands, how many people start their day by looking at social media? I'm unfortunately gonna have to admit that. Excuse me, I grabbed a piece of candy corn on my way back in here. So yeah, I mean, I do that, and recently I recently took some steps to cut down on that. I don't use a ton of social media, but what I do have, especially just on my phone, I've got Twitter, I've got Patreon. Actually, I had the Patreon app, and I had the YouTube Studio app, and I guess Discord as well. And basically, I have taken steps, actually, to get rid of those a bit. Funny enough, the Patreon app, I got rid of that because it wanted me to log in again, and I just couldn't be bothered, you know? But sometimes, you know, if I see notifications on Patreon, it's like, I don't need to just check the Patreon app all the time just to see if there's anything new there. I don't need that. The YouTube Studio app was basically how I was reading comments on my YouTube videos, and I just got rid of that because... And this is nothing against anyone watching this video. The Cowboy Bebop viewers, commenters, you're all great. I think some of you may know the comment section that I'm referring to that has basically just driven me out of that. I admittedly have rarely used Discord. I do have a Discord server for 7th Hour Films, but it's basically a ghost town. Nobody fucking talks there anymore. And that's fine. So I just sort of got rid of the app because I wasn't even on there anyway. Twitter, I've taken steps because I still follow people and I want to see some of the stuff they post, but I've taken steps. I never look at the trending page. I try to avoid notifications and stuff, at least on my phone. So I've taken steps recently. And yeah, so that, at the very least, even though there's this whole thing of like, oh, the people created the gods and stuff, and it's like, okay, fucking, I don't need your heavy-handed philosophy, just let Spike fucking shoot something, you know? but it does still hold up with the whole thing about TV, you know? And it is an interesting twist that all of this isn't like some grand design or something. It's literally just this kid in a coma who just, his dreams just went too far, you know? And two big interesting things from this episode. One is that Ein apparently is a great hacker. Who friggin' knew? But yeah, that was really interesting. That was interesting discovering that Ein is actually a great hacker. And I'm glad that Ein actually like saved Jet, you know? Like, that was really interesting. But then the really big thing, Big Shot got canceled. No! So I was wondering, because I saw, you know, on the description on Wikipedia for the movie, I saw that it takes place between episode 22 and episode 23. And honestly, watching these, I was kind of thinking like, well, I don't know why. Like, it probably could have taken place anywhere after you get the full crew, you know? Because, yeah, there's nothing in the episodes or the movie that tie specifically to each other. But this, where it has to at least be before episode 23 because the Big Shot show got canceled. That's hilarious. I really like that. That's really funny that it ended up getting canceled. So yeah. And I've given it so much crap. Mainly just because, you know, it's so goofy. It's such a goofy show. And also the fact that it's like, okay, I don't know what ethnicity that guy is offending, but he's offending somebody. He may be offending just everybody in the fact that nobody knows who can be offended, you know? Like, I don't know. I don't know what he's supposed to be. So in that way, nobody's probably offended too, you know? But I've given them so much crap throughout this show, but now I'm gonna miss them, you know? Excuse me. Yeah, I'm actually gonna miss them. So, yeah. R.I.P. to the Big Shot show. Man, where are we gonna get our useless information now? Where are we going to be, you know, chided by television shows for not getting the bounty or whatever, you know? Oh, wow. But yeah, so overall, interesting episode. Definitely interesting. And I'm curious to see where we are going with the final 3. We've got 3 episodes left of Cowboy Bebop. Isn't that crazy? But yeah, that is basically it. With all that being said, I'm Alex from 7th Hour Films, and I will see you guys next time. Take care. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. There's a bunch of links on screen if you want to go click around any of those. There's a playlist for all of my Cowboy Bebop reactions, as well as another video you can go click on if you want. There's also a subscribe button and a Patreon button on screen, as well as other links in the description if you want to go check out any of those. See you guys later.